So welcome everyone. I think we're live on Facebook. Are we live on Facebook, Stephanie?
We're getting there.
Oh, okay. And I have the ability to share screen. It says I'm disabled as a participant. Host disabled participant screen sharing. So you'll have to give me permission.
Yeah, I'll get that set up.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome, welcome. We're just getting things set up here real quick. Morning, Jessica, Maureen. Is it morning where you're at? It's morning where I'm at. Awesome. Hey. We'll wait just a moment for people to hop on the call. And if anybody's watching on Facebook, you're invited to use the Zoom link and hop in the Zoom. It makes it easier to visit in there. Then we can let you come on camera if you want to, or you can leave your camera off. This morning, we're going to be talking about the centers in the human design body graph. So we've got slides all prepared and everything, and so you can see what we're talking about. Also in the event, I think it was in the group, in the Human Design and Gene Key Study group, I posted a download sheet that if you have the ability to print it out, then it's a little worksheet you can use to check your body graph and mark off the little check marks on there if you want to use that. So you can check, it's got little boxes to say if that center is open or undefined or defined in your chart. So you can follow along during the presentation.
Got mine. Hi there.
Hey.
Let me change my background. that PDF you were talking about.
Yes.
Where you put that in the post?
I think it's in the files.
Okay.
Yeah,
Showed up on the main posting thread in the group as well.
Okay. HD centers checklist.
Yep. That's it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just wait for a couple more minutes and let people come on. Okay. So you found it okay, Maureen?
Yeah, I found it and I needed to pull up my human design. This is totally new to me. And I'm doing the 40 days of truth and purpose. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you can add this.
So much I can do.
Yeah, well, this can be added directly over to it. So like your and if anyone is wanting their astrology degree things, you can go ahead and hop on my website and get a in my booking app, send me a little chat and let me know that you would like the astrology degrees matched up that will match up your gates. And real quick, I can create a little PDF printout for that and email it to you if you request that from me. So probably have you request your free chart and then just in the little comment box, say that you're with Serious Joy and you're doing the 40 days of truth and purpose. And that if I could send you your astrology for your design, so you can match the themes of the gates up with the step astrology that you're doing in the 40 days of truth and purpose, because it'll add an extra little bit of information, actually a lot of information onto what he's giving you already. So okay, I think we will go ahead and I'm going to pull up the slides. Are there other people in the Facebook live, Stephanie?
I think that's pretty much everyone that I'm seeing. I'm not seeing any comments of people trying to get in, so I think we're doing okay there.
Okay, very good. All right. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen so we can pull up. I better get on the right page on Canva, right? Okay, here we go. All right, this is the first time that I've used Canva for the slides, so hopefully I do it okay. And I'm not going to be able to see any chat, so Stephanie is here and helping out with anything that we might need. So anyway, okay, here we go. Can you, oh, I think that I don't think that's going to work very well because it covers up. When I expand out the slides, are our pictures on the side covering everything up in your, so like when I do this, is it covering up the slide, our pictures on the side?
You mean literally our pictures, like me talking to you right now? No, and I think that's a setting for each individual anyway.
Okay.
Like I can totally expand it and shrink it on my end, or just not see us at all.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. I'm going to put it on speaker view and then won't be covering up everything that I need to see. Okay. Thanks, Maureen. All right. So I think I'm on the the wrong. I was reviewing my notes here. Hang on. We'll get us in the right place. There we go. All righty. Okay. So today we're talking about the human design and the 9 centers of energy inside the human design system. So the centers are these little geometric shapes that are shown in the body graph. And this is an example of what the mandala is. And really quick, these little chop marks around the edge are the hexagrams, the 64 hexagrams of the Chinese I Ching. And as we move around the year, like the sun moves through these and each one of the planets, at the bottom, there's like 6 little lines in each one, and each of these have specific energies that go with each of the gates in the hexagrams. So the bottom line there is the first line, and then the next one up is the second line, then the third, fourth, fifth, and the sixth. And then it immediately will enter the next hexagram in line. You'll notice that they're not in numerical order. And you'll notice that as you look at them, there is a pattern that happens within each one of them. Today, we're not going to go over that, but I just suddenly felt like it was good to go over what's happening. And then also, every 28 days, the moon travels through each one of these gates as well, which can be very beneficial and helpful for reflectors in particular, because they're the way they make clear decisions is based on the lunar cycle. And so it's very helpful for the reflectors to have that reference. So I want to welcome you this morning, and hopefully you'll gain some new insights about who you are. And also, I was just sharing with Maureen a moment ago, you can add the information from your human design body graph and the activations that you find there to the step astrology that Christopher Liedtke is teaching us. And in particular, if you're interested, you can add it to the 40 days of truth and purpose as well. Okay, so if you have any comments or anything, just raise your hand or let Stephanie know on Facebook Live, and we can answer your questions. I'm going to run through the presentation, and if you do have your chart in front of you, then you can use the little handout that I put in the group thread this morning. It's a PDF. It can be printed out, and it has some little boxes on there so you can color in. At the top, it's got a blank chart. You can literally just take some colored pencils and color in your centers if you want to, as well as your gates if you want to do that as well. So I wanted you to be able to play with that. So, and a little bit about me. I personally love sharing ways that we can consciously create miracles in our life. And this is one of the reasons I love Serious Joy, and why I've been on Serious Joy membership for the last 4 years. I'm a spiritual life coach, and I love metaphysics, anything metaphysics, intuition. I come from the spiritual side of like the way to keep healthy and well, because all things are created in spirit first before it becomes physical. So working from the spiritual end of things, you can sometimes alleviate challenges that might be on their way occurring before they occur. And of course, with any of these presentations, they're for educational and entertainment purposes and not for diagnosing and just subscribing. We need to say that really quick. But I love to come from all of the levels of being, the spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional, because when we balance those areas in our life, then we can start feeling even better over time. So let's see. Just a little bit more about myself. I'm a metaphysically minded mama of 2 lovely children. We homeschooled together for a total of 23 years. My son is 30 years old. He is a reflector, and my daughter is 26, and she's a manifesting generator. I love art, crystals, chakras, mandalas. I do Zentangle, Neurographica art. I love fairies and flowers. I have fairies and everything in my office, tons of crystals. And my most favorite place for vacationing is Southern Utah. I love Red Rock Country, especially Zion. I've been learning about applying and integrating the energies of my human design life chart for almost 12 years now. I'm a level 4 human design specialist, quantum alignment coach, which is using the human design body graph to alleviate stress and help you feel more at peace within yourself and dissolve any non-supportive conditioning that you may have in your life. I'm a certified quantum touch instructor and also a certified female alphabet instructor. And the that alphabet thing is not only for children, it's to bring self-empowerment for both adults and children. And it's also a way to help people who struggle with handwriting or literacy to step into that and be able to read and write even better and self-empower themselves along the way. Looks like I put a double thing in there. Gosh, I don't know. Okay, when I met the human design system, I was so drawn to it because it combines individual elements together that I'd already been studying and interested in. Like the chakras, I took a beginning class for the Kabbalah, and I was already interested in the Chinese I Ching and the meridians, so it just drew me right into the information. I'm also 6'3" emotional manifestor in the human design system, and for our step astrology in the Series Joy community, I am a step 28 Gemini, step 20 Leo rising, and step 29 Aquarian moon. Okay, so to start our presentation this morning, in the human design system, there are 9 centers of energy in the body graph blueprint. So if you count these, then there are 9 of them. And I think it's the most engaging thing that you first notice when you look at a chart or a body graph. Okay, so their geometric shapes, I'm not certain that anyone really knows why they're the shapes that they are or the colors that they are. Sometimes those questions come up, but I don't believe that Ra, who was the gentleman that downloaded this information, all of us received the information, but he was the one that was able to actually write it down so that we can use it now while we're entering the Aquarian age. So some of the centers in your life chart may be colored in with yellow, green, brown, or red. And when a center contains one of these colors, it's said to be defined. So when we look over here, the throat center is colored in brown. And the reason that it is colored in is because this channel connects down here to the emotion center. So that makes them both colored in. And you can see up here as well, with the mind center, there's a complete channel where 2 gates meet in the middle and touch both of the centers on either end. So that causes them to be colored in, as well as the sacral center and the emotion center. So the 659 channel is completely activated, and that is why it is colored in. So that's how they get colored in. Some of the centers in your life chart may be colored in white and will have no gates activated color, meaning it won't be colored in. And there will be no gates that are activated that are touching it. So that's all of these are white, and the spleen center is colored in white. In this case, when you have a center that is showing this way, then it's considered to be open. I'm going to grab a little quick sip of water here. Okay. Another case that can happen or situation that can show is that a center may be colored in white, and there's gates that are activated by planets that are touching it. And so that is called being an undefined center. Okay, so I just tossed an example of the little handout. So here, what I was talking about a moment ago, you literally could just take some colored pencils and color in your chart here and have some fun with that, and then mark off by using the definitions we just went over. You can mark in the box. So say like if this was your chart, then on the root center, you would mark the little box that says undefined. So you would mark the second one. And if it was the throat center that we just looked at, then you would put a little mark in the defined, and you could color it in brown. Okay, so just a little brief run through of each of the 9 centers, and then we'll go a little more in depth. But at the top of the body graph is the crown center. So this is the center of curiosity, wonder, inquiry, and inspiration. And the next center that's down, it's got the shape that's pointing down, and it's green, the green triangle. And this is the mind center, and it's the center of thinking, information, and awareness. So an awareness center. There actually are 3 awareness centers in the body graph. The other 2 are the spleen center and the emotion center. Then next here is the throat center, which we've already looked at briefly on the other chart. This is the center of divine order, manifestation, and communication. And it's said in the human design system that all the energies are trying to get here to the throat to express at the throat. Then the next one is the little yellow diamond here in the center. It's called the self center. You may notice some people calling it the G center or the identity center. It could be shown as the actual capital letter G, or I've seen people spell it out as JI. It's all in reference to the self center. So this is the center of love, direction, and boundaries. And another day we could go over just each one of the centers individually, but the self center has all of what's called the love gates and the direction gates. And so there's 4 of each of those. The really neat thing for our Serious Joy community is this is about the self center has to do with creating and maintaining healthy boundaries for oneself. And the truth and purpose, the 40 days of truth and purpose in Scorpio has a relationship with that and creating healthy boundaries for ourselves and watching over our space. So the heart center is the next. It's this little red triangle here on the right. And this is the center of being open to and following divine will, having resources that we need in our life, and offers a state of well-being, like a feeling of self-worth and self-value. And the next, we're going to go over the chakras when we go through I'll wait on that one. But the center and the heart center can be related to each other through the heart chakra. Then the spleen center is here on the left at the brown triangle pointing in. This is a center of intuition, instinct, and wellness, and has to do with survival in the moment. There's not thought with it. It's just like if a bear's chasing you, your body's going to run. It's going to do what it needs to do to try to survive or, take care of you and keep you safe. Then off here on the far right is the emotion center, and that's the brown triangle that's pointing in toward the middle of the body graph. And this is the center of emotional wisdom, grace, and compassion. Then there's the sacral center. Here's the red triangle, and it's the center of sustainable flow, not flower. I put a typo in there. That's funny. Sustainable flow of life force energy. I was working so hard on these slides, let me tell you. Okay, And then the next one is the root center. At the very bottom is the brown square. And this is the center of drive to do. Like, this is what gets you up out of your chair to go do something, to, the dishes need to be done, or you're going to go for a walk, or, it's time to do whatever you're needing to do. And that's what gets you up and getting going. So, okay. All right. So this is what I started sharing just a moment ago, is every one of the centers can be correlated, not 100% directly, but there's a flavor of the chakra system, and you can see that by the names of the centers. There's a flavor of the chakra system inside the human design system. It took me a long time to find this information. It wasn't readily available. I kept taking classes until I was able to get this information one day in a class. So I made a graphic for it so that people can understand or have a correlation for it. So again, the crown chakra somewhat can be brought over to the energy of the crown center. And then the third eye, sometimes the mind center is called the ajna center. So you might hear someone call the mind center at the ajna, and or could be referred to as the third eye, but in human design it's the mind or the ajna. And then the throat chakra for the throat center. And then again, as I mentioned a moment ago, the self center and the heart center can be correlated with the heart chakra. So it's been in the body graph, it's been split into two different areas, but they both can be related to the heart chakra. And then the spleen center and the solar plexus, the emotion center can be related to the solar plexus chakra. And again, just real quick, this isn't 100%, coverage from we can't just superimpose the entire chakra system over into human design, but there's just this flavor of it in there. And then the sacral chakra can be correlated to the sacral center, and likewise the root to the root center. And then I added a little graphic up here in the upper left hand so that you could see the correlation of the chakra system for each one of the lines in a hexagram. So the bottom line could be referred to for the root chakra, the second. So this is the first line in a hexagram. The second line can be correlated to the second chakra. The third line, the solar plexus chakra. The fourth line, the heart chakra. The fifth line, the throat chakra, and then the third eye chakra to the sixth. Now the question comes here, where is the seventh chakra? And I'm going to stop sharing here because I want to demonstrate. I had heard over time, just in my studies of the chakra system, that in the Buddhist chakra system, if I'm even saying that correctly, they would call the seventh chakra the center chakra. And I was like, what the heck? And then when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay. And I had purchased some cathedral glass. And so I apologize for the tape, but this is the only way I can keep this together. But each one so this is a hexagram in 3D form, basically. So I have the heart chakra here, the throat chakra here, and let me see, I want to get this right, like the heart chakra, the sacral chakra, the root chakra. Well, then the seventh chakra would be in the very center of this cube. our reality is basically made up from this shape. And when you turn it, it makes a hexagram if it were 2D on a paper, if it were flat on the page. So then, but this is a 3D rendition of a hexagram, and the center chakra or the seventh chakra would be represented in 3D in the center of this cube. So I think it's fun, and that's why I have that on my desk, because I like to have it in my space. So I will go back to sharing our screen. Do we have any questions anywhere or comments by anyone?
I came a little bit late, but I have my human design thing from Cassandra. It's not as
Okay.
colorful as yours, so it's not as easily displayed as to what would be the predominant quadrant or whatever you want to call it. Is there any way?
Well, let's do this. Let's move through the information that I have
Okay.
on the slides, and then after we're done with the presentation part, then if you want to describe to me like
Sure.
where
Okay.
you
I thought you
have,
might have. I thought you might. Yeah, I thought you might have already mentioned the one that is not lit or the one that has. You know what I mean? Then I could just follow
yeah,
along.
yeah,
Okay.
no, we're just heading into that, and then if we have time to discuss people's charts, then we'll do that. I think we should have time to do that. So, okay, all right, thanks, Maria. Okay. I'm hoping this, oh, there we go. Let me make sure I'm on the right thing. Yeah, there we go. All right, so the crown center here, the first, the top center there with the triangle pointing up. This is, again, the center of curiosity, wonder, inquiry, and inspiration. In its balanced expression, it's naturally inquisitive, curious, and inspired. And if it's not in balance, if it's the potentially unbalanced expression, then there could be an experience of confusion, suspicion, a pressure to understand how things work and to know why things happen the way they do, and the pressure to find out what the answer is to the apparent problem or question, meaning just going and not able to put it down, like the wheels are just spinning and not able to relax. Or, you know, this is much like a child that says, why can't I do this? What's this? Or, you know, on. And sometimes we can get stuck in those kinds of cycles as adults as well. So there's two ways that like I mentioned a moment ago, that the center can show itself. And here are the two versions where it could show up in as it's colored in white. So if the oh, I hope I didn't mess up. I may have messed up my charts just a little bit, my notes. I'll just go over it. So, and when there's an open or undefined crown center, then there's a variable way of knowing what you're certain about, of being open to other people's inspirations. You might get inspired by things that other people are inspired by, and thinking that it's yours, like it's what you're inspired by. But that's not necessarily true. And the way that you'll know what your true inspiration is by following your own type, authority, and strategy. So, or type, strategy, and authority. So for example, if someone is manifesting generator and they have emotional clarity, they would want to, like if they went to, say, an essential oils party or something, and they were trying to have them sign up and to buy essential oils or to make a purchase, then the guidance there would be for the manifesting generator to listen to their gut response. This is shown up naturally in their environment already, so they can respond from their gut with an or and then follow that up with emotional clarity. So ideally, they wouldn't want to make a decision right at that party. They would want to go home, feel into it, and then get back with the person and let them know whatever their emotional clarity was, if they want to purchase or not. And as you know, at some of these parties, like what I just described, they want you to buy something right then. So it's very important and helpful for you to understand how your type, strategy, and authority works, so that you don't end up doing something or making a decision that might not be the best decision for you. But quite the opposite, when we are following our type, strategy, and authority, we have a greater ability to make clear decisions on our behalf. So in both of these cases where the centers are colored in white, the contemplation question for the individual in this case would be, am I under pressure to answer other people's questions and live out their ideas and inspirations? For the open or undefined crown center, some energies that you can connect with, and I put some declarations here. The first one, it says, I am deeply inspired all the time. So this can help you these statements can help you get rebalanced if you get out of balance in the center. And I have a slide like this for each one of the centers. The next one, I am following my human design strategy and authority to help me decide what is best for me to do. I am wise about what is truly inspiring. And this would be as an individual, you being who you are. I'm realizing that the questions in my head are from others around me, and that all of these questions are not necessarily mine to answer. So one thing, a challenge that can come, especially for the open crown center, is that they actually have the ability to have telepathic communication or experience telepathic communication. So they can pick up on other people's thoughts. This can happen here as well, with gates defined on the center, but there will be consistent energy that person can get a hold of. Whereas this one is just open. So real quick, an open center can act like, you know, those little Japanese teacup sets, and sometimes they don't have cups on the handles, right? So you have to pick up the cup very carefully with both hands and drink from the cup there. This is the way, and someone else has poured tea in it. You can pour tea in it, but then someone else can pour tea in it. So this is like the energies in your environment get poured into your teacup, so to speak. And then you'll need to decide, is this my inspiration or is it someone else's? And the same will happen here. However, if you have one of these gates activated or defined on that center, then you have a handle on that cup, so you can pick it up and manipulate that teacup more easily, so to speak. I'm hoping that is making sense. Does anybody have any questions about that? Like, all the centers behave that way. Okay, and then the ones that are colored in, defined, that would be a consistent energy that you can actually grasp and get hold of more easily, like it's consistent for you all the time. So all the centers have that ability, depending on, and will behave that way depending on how they're activated. Okay.
So you're saying if the geometric shape is open and doesn't have any coloring in it, then we would be more susceptible from other people's input. Okay.
Yes, and it's easier to get
Colored, it would be the
conditioned.
opposite.
What did you say?
If it was colored, then we would be less likely to be susceptible to other people's input.
Correct. But as children, it's still easy for us to get conditioned, even in the colored in places in our charts. So that's why it's helpful for parents to know and understand what their body graph chart is, not only for themselves, and I would say that's the number one thing, but for their little ones in particular, but in communication with your adult children as well, so that you can understand why they're behaving the way they're behaving. It's not personal. And then it opens up a lovely field of communication where you can understand even a 1-month-old baby, why they're behaving this way. Maybe they're getting tummy aches or whatever. They've got gate 40, they have upset stomach or whatever. So these things, like, it gives you an extra leg up. It could be called, I view the human design system as the manual that our moms wish that they had when we were born. So it does open up a field of communication, even for communicating with a tiny infant, that normally we wouldn't think we could communicate with them and understand, but I know that is possible. So I know that's possible firsthand because I did that with my own children, but particularly my daughter. She would talk to me all the time as an infant, with her face and everything. Like, she would move the muscles on her face. It was way before we even knew anything about human design. But when we connected with it, I realized what had been happening, and I felt very grateful. So the human design system can help us that way. All right. The next, let me see, we backed up a screen. Let's go forward and forward again. Okay, so when the center is colored in and it has gates activated on it and a channel connecting to the next one, like we described, then there is a consistent energy there, and the pressure could be consistent in a consistent way. So this individual could come to understand, oh, when I feel this way, that's pressure. I don't need to pay attention to that. Or it's this flavor of pressure, I do want to pay attention to it. So over time, they will discover that they have a consistent way of being inspired and having thoughts and information come to them from the field, the quantum field of love is what I call it. So, and there's different, oh my goodness, this is backing up. I don't know where my little flowers went. So there are also energies here. I am deeply wise about information and beliefs. So this is for the defined mind center. I wonder if there we go. There. I don't know why it's not loading in the big thing. The next one is, I am recognizing my gift is that I can see many sides of an issue and have many different understandings that are fluid and that change all the time. Oh, that I backed up. What is going on? Okay, guys, the mind center. I don't know how we skipped way far ahead like that. Okay, we're back on the crown center after I confused myself and everybody else. Okay, so the declarations that go with the defined crown center. I am inspired and inspiring. I am spreading inspiration everywhere I go. I thought something was not correct with the other ones I was reading. I am sharing my ideas and inspirations with others as I follow my human design strategy and authority. I am in the habit of waiting until someone interested asks me to share my inspirations with them. So this is like waiting, the value of waiting until someone is interested in what you are thinking about or inspired by is that when someone asks, you have a greater potential of someone actually listening to and engaging with what you're sharing with them if they're interested in it. Okay, now we're on the mind center. Mind center is the green center, that's pointing down, the little triangle that points down. This is the center of thinking, information, and awareness. And when we are balanced in the mind center, there's mental awareness. We have facts that we're looking at or collecting, ideas or thoughts. This is much like a filing cabinet or like a dictionary or the encyclopedia or the Wikipedia. So this isn't where we make clear decisions from. This is just an information gathering instrument, if you will. If the energy of the mind center is out of balance, then we may notice that we feel uncertain or opinionated. The way to restore balance is the little declarations that I've put in here. And I think I messed up just a little bit on my definitions, but the undefined and the open aspects are very close on these. And I've gone over like the difference between the two. The mind center, you would again be open to picking up on other people's thoughts, conclusions, opinions, and trying to make, draw conclusions and thought processes from that. But again, the big thing is check with your type, strategy, and authority to make sure that the thoughts that you're thinking or having come to your mind are yours, and use your type, strategy, and authority to make your decisions, not based on what you're thinking. So any thinking will come with words or verbalizations, but when we're in our decision-making process, there won't be words that come with it at all. So the contemplation question here, if you're feeling out of balance, is, am I struggling to be certain about making up my mind? And am I trying to convince others and myself that I am certain? So going back and forth, not being able to decide things, but reverting back to your strategy and authority is the best thing. So the declarations to support restoring balance in the mind center: I am deeply wise about information and beliefs. I am recognizing my gift is that I can see many sides of an issue and have many different understandings that are fluid, that change all the time. That's why I was a little confused when I hit this screen, because I was like, wait a second, that's not the crown center, and it's not that consistent thing. So this is inconsistent and variable energy when the center is colored in white. I am realizing that I don't necessarily have to make up my mind. It can just be. I am in the habit of writing down things I want to remember. So it's good for the open mind or the undefined mind, or even the open crown or undefined crown, to have a notebook to jot ideas down in, to refer back to later. The defined mind has a fixed and consistent way of thinking and processing and investigating whatever it is that you're looking at. It has a knack, there will be a knack of drawing out patterns and making sense of things and understanding things that may be difficult for others to unwind or get a hold of. The defined mind center, the declarations to support bringing balance to the mind center is: I am gentle with my thinking. I am in the habit of remembering that there are many ways to think about information. I am uniquely capable of being certain. So this is a fixed, consistent way of thinking. I am listening carefully to the thoughts of others and graciously allowing an open space for different ways of thinking to be offered, heard, and considered. So the defined mind this is potentially a person who could say, I am right and I know I am, and not be open to listening to other people's expressions. So that's why this declaration is here, is to help the realization, oh, it's good for me to pause and listen to other ideas and consider other things, and maybe I can integrate that into my consistent thinking or frame of mind, or just listen and say thank you. Okay, the throat center is the next center down, is the square on the body graph there at the throat. This energy is the energy of divine order, manifestation, and communication. When it's in its balanced expression, it will naturally manifest by a connection with the divine and clear communication, not only with themselves, but with source and with other people in their space. If it's not balanced, there you may notice a tendency towards speaking out of turn or having a loss of words and not knowing how to express. That would create a challenge. So when the center is colored in white, either open or undefined, this is someone who could actually speak on behalf of other people. I believe Oprah has, I don't know if she has a defined, I think she has an undefined throat center. It might be completely open, but I think there's at least 1 or 2 gates activated on her throat center. Maybe, we could look up a celebrity charts another day, but this would allow a person to speak on behalf of another. But also this, when someone has this center colored in white, they could actually start doing things to try to attract attention or just really talking a lot over much. So again, waiting and using your type, strategy, and authority to know when to share, when to speak, or when to initiate situations or not, and when to listen and when it's the correct time to speak. The contemplation question for these 2 ways of expressing the throat center is, am I trying to attract attention, perhaps inappropriately, so that I can be heard? So this could come from a feeling or a sense of insecurity. And the way to restore balance at the throat center when it's open or undefined. And you can use these with EFT. If you know EFT tapping as well, you could tap on these. The first one here says, I am noticing that my words are heard best when I am invited to speak. I am saving my words for people who truly desire to hear my point of view and insights. So understanding this energy can alleviate some communication issues in our relationships as well. The next one, I am waiting for the right people to ask me so my words are valued. Now, this can just feel uncomfortable. So again, the guidance here would be use a journal, write your insights. If you have a blog or a podcast or something, express those insights and point of view that you value. And then people who are interested can come in and comment, and you can respond back, or they can ask you questions. The next declaration here, I am waiting for divine right timing before sharing my perceptions with others. Because it's really nice, in relationships to have our ideas valued. And so when we wait for people who are interested, then the potential for someone actually engaging with what we're saying will go up when we wait for someone who's interested. When this center is colored in, the throat center, then there will be a reliable and fixed way or style of communicating, acting, and moving in your environment. So, and doing that in a more balanced way. However, there are times when someone with the throat center activated, that they can end up talking quite a lot as well. So recognizing if you do have a defined throat center and paying attention, am I talking more than the other person that I'm engaging with and communicating with, or am I giving them an opportunity to talk or not as well? Because communication goes both ways. It's not just one-sided. So having awareness of that and watching. And again, all these energies, they're not personal, but when we have a way of noticing what's happening, then it just can help create a more gentle, smooth energy in our relationships with our family and our coworkers. To help bring balance with the defined throat center if it becomes unbalanced. The first one here is, I am speaking with great responsibility and know the true source of my words. So knowing where those expressions are coming from within yourself. I am allowing others to have a voice. We just talked about that. I am using my words to invite others to share. So taking time to pause, allowing for space for contemplation. And, you know, in the Gene Keys, I love how Richard Rudd, he encourages us to pause. And there's value in allowing a pause in communication, in conversation. Sometimes we get uncomfortable with those little spaces, and particularly if there's only you and another person. But those spaces are valuable because information can come through, and then inviting one another to communicate more clearly as well. The last one here, I am trusting that what I'm here to express and share in the world will be shared at the correct time with the correct people. I really like that one. Okay, and on to the self center here. This is the little yellow diamond in the center of the body graph. And on the mandala wheel, all the rays of light, if you will, from all the gates and the astrological activations in the body graph converge at the self center, like rays of light. The self center again has to do with love, direction, and boundaries in our life. So this, when we're balanced in this center, we're naturally loving, we have a directed, more easily directed through inner spirit guidance, and creating and maintaining healthy boundaries for ourselves, being open and receptive as well as creative in our life. And if it's unbalanced, then it may show up as a dislike of self, dislike of others, or feeling disoriented. This reminds me of, like, you know, Alice in Wonderland. She's skipping down the path and she comes across the Cheshire Cat and he asks her where she's going. She says, I don't know. And he says, well, and she's wondering which path to take, you know, because it has a fork in the road. And he said, well, it doesn't matter if you don't, you know, you've got to decide. So this has somewhat of that energy there. The way that we decide in our own way is strategy and authority again. All right, so in both of these instances, for the open and the undefined self-center, there will be an inconsistent, varying way depending on who you're spending time with the most in your life. That will help you know the correct location for you to be in, who to hang out with. If you like the way that you're behaving when you're with a certain group of people or a person, then you're in the correct location. And if you don't like how you're behaving and you're uncomfortable where you're at with people or in a certain location, say an apartment complex or city or town or whatever, then that would be considered an incorrect location. Now, in the Chinese I Ching, the words correct and incorrect don't mean right or wrong like we view them in the West. They mean, correctness means whatever is going to get you on the correct path to meet up with your joy, or wherever your goal is or your ideal heading. It doesn't mean it's going to be comfortable on that path. That's not a guarantee. But correctness means you're on the correct path to get you where your soul desired to be in your lifetime. So And then incorrectness means you're not on the correct path and you're off in the barbed wire fence and the weeds. And that's not very fun at all. So when that happens in these two expressions of this center, we can ask ourselves, do I question my lovability? And am I struggling to find direction? So again, you may be picking up on the energy of someone else that has a defined self-center, or there may be a connection between a channel that's defined in a relationship with you and another individual. For example, if you are a person that has an open self-center, you may notice in your life that you reflect the behavior of the people that you're with. And when you leave that room and you go into it, say you behave a certain way at home around the energy field of your family members, and then you leave and you go to work and you behave differently because you're around different people at work. This is okay. There's no judgment. There's not anything wrong with you. You don't have to feel guilty about this. This is how you come to know yourself, is through other people. Okay, so if the self-center that is open or undefined becomes unbalanced, you can come and reconnect and create balance here with these ideas or declarations. First one says, I am noticing that how I experience myself changes depending on who I am with. I am choosing to surround myself with people who feel good to me. That should say recognizing. I am recognizing that my location is very important to me, and I'm creating an environment that soothes me, and I feel good being in it. I am realizing that I am in the right place with the right opportunities, then the right opportunities come to me when I'm in the right place. I might have to look at that. I am realizing that when I'm in the right place, the right opportunities come to me. Okay, I read it kind of funny. So the open and undefined centers, self-center, will experience that. Okay, and then the defined self-center, there will be a fixed and reliable way of identifying themselves. So they were born knowing who they are. They'll have a fixed way of being themselves, and it will be consistent to them so that it feels comfortable wherever they are. If you've ever watched Buckaroo Banzai in the Eighth Dimension, and Professor I think is Lazarus, he says, home is where you hang your hat. So basically, wherever you are, and Buckaroo says, wherever you go, there you are, meaning you're at home wherever you are. That is your home. And there will be a greater sense of that for someone that has a defined self-center. If the defined self-center activation becomes unbalanced, you can come back here and rebalance. I am who I am. So knowing who you are, just reconnecting with yourself at the soul level. I am expressing myself in all that I do. So trusting the expressions that you have, your creativity, what you're receiving, what you love, who you are at the core level. I am myself and everything. I meant to put love myself. I love myself and everything about me. I had so many thoughts going on while I was preparing this. It looks like I had some typos. I am celebrating the magnificence of who I am as a soul living and being in physical form. Okay, onto the defined heart center. This is connecting with divine will, having plenty of resources in your kingdom, basically, and being in a state of well-being, feeling valued within yourself, and knowing what you value and what you want, and thereby being in a state of well-being. If it becomes unbalanced, you'll have indications of trying to control or being controlled, behaving in a shocking manner, just doing things just to shock people. not being in integrity 100%, behaving in a competitive way, or trying to prove oneself to other people. So the open or undefined heart centers, they will have an inconsistent way of knowing what they want, and actually have a very difficult way of time knowing what they want and what they value. Only 40% of the population have this center defined. So most people go around wondering what they want. And ads that we hear are really, really focused toward the people who don't know what they want. This is where spur of the moment, those end cap purchases at the store can happen. Like, oh my gosh, at the checkout stand, I want that whatever it is that's sitting there, and you hadn't gone in the store intending to purchase that. So that energy could become overcompensated, or you feel like you're lacking something that you need, and that's not necessarily so. The way that you will know what you want is your type, strategy, and authority. And questions for the open or undefined heart center are, what am I trying to prove? Like, are you trying to prove yourself to other people? And do I think I have to prove something to any other people? To bring balance to the heart center that is open or undefined, I am entering into all agreements according to my human design strategy and authority. So gate 40 on the heart center can make decisions, agreements. And there's a tendency with that gate to want to just have a handshake agreement, but having contracts and agreements written out is very helpful for the heart center. I am making promises and commitments very carefully and deliberately, and only according to my human design strategy and authority. If your heart center is open or undefined, really don't, the guidance would be super careful and don't make promises that you can't keep. I mean, as a parent, if you're a parent, there's certain things and commitments that you have with your children, or even with your spouse, that you have made, but being very careful how you make those commitments and promises, and expressing them so you develop trust between each other in your relationships. The next one is, I am recognizing I have nothing to prove. I am deeply valuing myself from inside my heart of hearts. And I'm realizing I do not need to give everything away, including the kitchen sink, to others. And I'm confidently asking to be paid what I am worth. So when there is an open heart center in particular, this is a person that will just give away the shirt on their back and leave themselves with nothing. So making sure that you're taking care of yourself and guarding yourself and your boundaries there as well. So the defined heart center, there will be a consistent way of knowing what you like, what you value, what you want. And there will be a greater tendency towards self-confidence, having a healthy ego and self-esteem, and a feeling of self-worth. The whole thing there, the guidance would be, do things in integrity and uprightness, I guess, forthrightness, truthfulness. To bring balance to the defined heart center, the statements here, I am recognizing it is important for me to rest after I work. So I like to say, I've noticed this I have the gate 40 activated in my design. And I've recognized over time that in order for me to be able to work, I must rest. And in order for me to rest, I must work. So recognizing rest to work and work to rest. And then that will bring a correct cycle of work and rest. I'm realizing that rest allows me to recharge my willpower. So you'd be able to make stick with your commitments. So like at the beginning of the year, everyone makes these goals and commitments, and then a lot of those don't last, 3 weeks or whatever. But a person with the defined heart center will have a greater ability to stick with those commitments if they get correct rest for themselves. I am recognizing that not everyone can just do the things that I can do. So the heart can actually use their internal willpower to get things done where other people will have a hard time doing that. I am in the habit of honoring the promises that I make. You want to make sure, to make promises that you are actually following through on, because problems can develop and you feel like junky inside if you don't follow through on those promises. I am gentle with my expectations of others, because other people cannot do what you can do. Like they just can't. They don't have the ability, and it's not that a person with a defined heart center is better. Their energy just runs differently, and recognizing that patience, when you're working with other people, that other people cannot always do what the defined heart can do. I am making deliberate promises and understand that people expect me to keep those promises. So make sure your promises are something that you can follow through on so things go well. We're going to move down here to the spleen center next, and this is the center of intuition, instinct, and wellness. And when it is balanced, is naturally intuitive and instinctual. So just having an innate knowingness, following the first intuitive hit, noticing when something instinctually feels or smells bad or smells good, and either to move towards it or to get away from it. If it's not balanced, there could be a great deal of fear that could show up, or holding on to things or people or relationships longer than is healthy for you. And also having a difficult time of letting go of what no longer serves. When the open or undefined spleen is in the body graph, then there could be a sense of insecurity, like they might have a tendency to cling to someone who has this center defined in their chart. Obviously, in that case, there could be a situation of codependency that could arise in that case and could be uncomfortable. So this sense of insecurity could be happening if that is the case. But there is an inconsistent and variable way of being healthy in your body. The spleen center has to do with, or can be related to, the immune system. So it's kind of like these are people that would, when you go to the gym, just do walking, let your auric field move through the other auric fields of the people at the gym. It will kind of act like a washing machine of some sorts. Like it will have the ability to clean up your auric field and your immune system and keep it healthy, especially if you're around other healthy people that are health-minded, like at the gym. But I'm skipping on my words here. The open spleen center and the undefined spleen center are not people like to go out and do long distance running or jogging or marathons. They're more of walking and hiking and so on, and not, getting a big sweat buildup. So if you're a person that has an open spleen or an undefined spleen center, and you struggle at the gym and you wonder, why can't I just run on the treadmill? It just knocks me out. So this could be the reason why. Contemplation question here is, am I holding on to things or people or pain, etc., for longer than is good or healthy for me? To bring balance back into the undefined or open spleen center, I am honoring my body and the messages it sends me. If or when I feel unwell, I am allowing myself the time and space to rest and rejuvenate. I am honoring my own sense of timing and know that whenever I arrive is just perfect. So the undefined and open spleen, they can be late. So minding what time it is so that people aren't standing and tapping your foot. It's kind of funny talking about this. I have a completely open spleen center, and it's kind of funny how often my family is waiting for me. So I try to hurry and get ready to go so they're not just standing there waiting and sitting on the couch or tapping their foot. I'm trusting my intuition and know that I am receiving intuitive insights in many varying ways, depending on who I am with. So the defined spleen center will have a tendency to have a healthy immune system. They'll have a feeling of safety within their body and have a consistent way of getting intuitive information or instinctual information for themselves. They have a way of, they have the ability to get answers or do things spontaneously in their life. To bring and restore balance in the defined spleen center, I am trusting my intuition. I am going with the flow of universal timing. I am remembering that not everyone is as fast as me. So again, this is like, you know, maybe you have your child and they're always walking behind you or they're being slow. Again, it's not personal, it's who they are, and not everyone can run as fast as the defined spleen center. I am being sure I am taking care of myself. Now, sometimes the person with a defined spleen center, they might not know when they're not feeling well. So keeping on top of one's health is crucial for the defined spleen. Next over here, the emotion center. One thing regarding the spleen center, this is like the physical expression of the solar plexus chakra, and the emotion center is like the spiritual expression of the solar plexus chakra. It can be likened to that. So there's spiritual energy here, physical energy at the spleen. The emotion center, when it's in balance, will be emotionally wise, have a greater tendency to have graciousness, tenderness, kindness, and compassion, not only for themselves, but for other people that they're interacting with. If it becomes unbalanced, there could be a drama show up, meanness, states of depression, separation, either in relationships or separation anxiety, and a feeling of lack of abundance. So again, for the open and undefined emotion centers, there's inconsistent and variable energy, emotional energies, and there's emotional waves. We're not going to go over the emotional waves in this presentation today, but the channels that come off of and the gates that come off of the emotion center have certain kinds of waves of energy that come with them. Some of them are short and others are longer. And all of these serve a purpose in being able to make clear decisions. So the person with the open and undefined emotion center will have an inconsistent and variable way of processing emotions in their environment, depending on who they're hanging out with at any given time or on a consistent basis. Understand in these two cases that, again, check inside yourself. Is this my stuff? Is this my drama to deal with? And if it is not, you have the ability to, again, graciously inform everyone that you're going to go for a walk, or you know, from my children watching Veggie Tales, there's one where Larry the cucumber, he's at the psychiatrist's office, and the psychiatrist, Larry's been just talking and talking, and the psychiatrist says, "Oh, look at the time." So this is what you can do, like graciously extricate yourself from the situation in hopefully a gracious manner if drama is coming up and it's not your stuff to deal with. Contemplation questions here for the open and undefined emotion center. Am I avoiding truth and conflict in order to keep everyone happy? And am I avoiding confrontation in order to feel happier? So things to think on if you are, your body graph has one of these activations. Okay, and to help bring balance for the open or undefined emotion center, I am noticing I can easily make decisions in the moment. So you don't have to wait to make your decisions. Like you'll have one of the other authorities that will be faster, and I'm going to have to say easier. The emotion authority can be difficult because it happens over time, like in the waiting. But the open or undefined emotion center can make decisions more quickly. I am paying attention to the source of my emotions and allowing others to experience their feelings without making their experience my own. So you don't need to take on their dramas in your life. I am very emotionally sensitive. So someone with an open or undefined emotion center can be very sensitive to the emotions of the people around them. That doesn't mean you need to take them on, but recognize, oh, this person's having a moment, and you can leave the room, or like if it's a child that's having emotional kick up and they're on the floor kicking and screaming, you can direct them to their room, or you can get up and go in the kitchen and get some water or whatever. I'm gonna get a sip of water here. You don't have to stick around and be in the space of that. I am taking frequent breaks when the emotional energy is too intense. Like a very nice thing to do is like soak in the tub. Yeah. Especially for the defined emotion center. The defined emotion center has the ability to feel the full spectrum of emotions and moods. Now, emotional clarity comes real quick because we can get confused about emotional clarity. What is emotional clarity for the defined emotion center is a calm, still point. That means regardless of whatever mood or emotions you're experiencing at the moment, it's kind of like a ruler or a measuring stick. Regarding this choice that you're making, it just sits there. It feels just right. It's unmoving. It feels peaceful, centered, and still. If it's choppy waters all over the place, can't decide between this or that, or you're all over the place emotionally, that is a no for now. So the emotions, the person with the defined emotion center will have consistent way of coming to emotional clarity, and that can be learned over time. To help bring balance to the defined emotion center, we can use the statement, I am taking my time making decisions and know that I reach clarity over time. So taking plenty of space and time to get that calm, still point. I am here to be deliberate in all things, not spontaneous. So giving yourself plenty of space and time to make decisions. I am filled with compassion for myself and others in the adventure of being a soul living a human experience. When others around me are struggling or feeling mean, I am responding with tenderness, graciousness, and kindness. Okay, 2 more centers to go. This next one is the sacral center. This has to do with having a sustainable flow of life force energy or not. When this center is in balance, this will be a person that's living in the natural flow of life force energy and taking regular pauses to rejuvenate and revitalize. If the energy of this center is unbalanced, it can show up as exhaustion, being overcommitted, even feeling weak or physically weak, having a tendency towards pushiness, bullying, or connecting with other people or their environment in an incorrect fashion, having impatience or energy depletion and exhaustion. That's an extension of that. So the open or undefined sacral center will have an inconsistent or varying way of using life force energy, depending on who they're hanging out with on a regular basis. Using your strategy and authority to know when to commit your energy to doing something or not, or when it's good for you to move forward with something or not necessarily forward, I guess that's not the right thing, but committing your energy correctly so you don't get in burnout, and knowing when enough is enough. So that is the contemplation question for the open or undefined sacral center is, do I know when enough is enough? And am I in the habit of pausing to rest when I am tired? Bringing balance to the open or undefined sacral center, these statements. I am recognizing I'm not here to work in the traditional way that society views work to be. So this applies to the projectors, the manifestors, and the reflectors. They're not here to work a 9-to-5 job. So if you are a reflector, a manifestor, or a projector that is in a 9-to-5 job and it's really tuckering you out, then you might want to look at different ways of working and bringing in funds for yourself that is not in the traditional way for you. The next statement, I am noticing that I can work hard in short bursts, and then it's good for me to have alone time in order to discharge the extra energy I carry. So alone time, that's not meaning an unhealthy aloneness or sadness. This is alone time away from other people's art fields so that the body can restore itself and its health from doing things throughout the day. This is an individual that in the human design system, the guidance here would be to even sleep by themselves without other people in the room so that their body can actually restore and rejuvenate themselves. I'm going to give myself as an example. I have, as a manifestor, I have an undefined spleen center, a sacral center. And I have 5 younger sisters who are all manifesting generators, and we all slept in the same room as we were growing up. And then when I got married, my husband has a defined sacral, he's a generator, and I was becoming more and more burned out. It started when I was noticeably when I was 7. And of course, way back then, who would know that this was the issue, but I was just completely heading downhill into burnout. And after I had my daughter, I was not doing very well at all. And by the time I connected with the human design system in 2012, my husband had naturally come to the conclusion that he was keeping me awake at night, which was true. After we connected with human design, we both consciously realized, and after visiting with Shaitan, he let me know that is what was happening, and it's not personal. But my husband began sleeping in a different room, and I'm hearing more and more of couples doing this. It doesn't mean that the couple doesn't love each other or in the relationship or that it's not a healthy relationship. It just means Okay, we'd honor the space of the open or undefined sacral so they can actually be healthy in their body and get the rest that they need. And that was the first time in my life that I actually have felt rested, and I actually started being able to increase in health over time. So that's a firsthand thing that I can share with you. If you have been looking at this and you're like, how do I do this? Or that's upsetting that it's, I can't sleep with my spouse or whatever. So these are actual mechanics of how our bodies work. And it's recognizing that it's not personal, but in order to stay healthy and well, this space of aloneness is good to have in relationships for that reason. The next one here, I am in the habit of taking care of myself and letting go of the expectations of others. This last statement, I am very powerful when I am using my energy correctly. The defined sacral will have a consistent flow of life force energy that is going 100% of the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you will have a gut response if your sacral center is colored in red. So this can give you elicit that gut response, which ideally is out loud. It could sound like mm-hmm, uh-huh, mm-mm. Or if it's an then it's no for now. If there's like an empty, I have no response to that thing, whatever it is, then that's a no for now as well. It's not no forever. Like, for example, on the mint chocolate chip ice cream that you're looking at buying or wanting to have, it's just no for now. And maybe that will change this evening or this weekend, and you'll get an response, gut response for having that ice cream cone later. But in this moment, who knows? Maybe it would give you an upset stomach, or it's just not right for right now. That's a very mundane, everyday, example that we could use regarding food for the gut response. So it can be used as a barometer. And basically, the gut response is saying, you have plenty of life force energy for this with the if you want to do it. You don't have to do it, but you want to be careful and listen to the gut response, because if you get your energy committed incorrectly to a certain thing, it will be very difficult for you to stop. So it's much like if a train, like a steam engine, a train getting up and going on the tracks, it takes several miles for it to get up and going, or a heavily loaded diesel truck pulling 3 trailers on it. It takes it a few minutes to get onto the highway and get up and running. Now it's committed because it's on the highway and it's not going to stop on the dime. And the sacral energy works that way regarding especially relationships, jobs, buying a house, like big, huge things in life. Like, you want to make sure you're getting your energy committed correctly by listening to and following your gut response. To bring balance to the defined sacral center, the statement here, I am waiting with grace and patience, knowing that the correct opportunities will show up for me. So you don't need to go chase things down and look for your opportunities as a defined sacral. Noticing what shows up in your environment naturally is the thing for you to do. And then you can let your gut response respond right then in the moment for whatever it is. I am courageously and confidently honoring my gut response. I am internally driven to be in the correct place at the correct time, doing the correct work for me. So the defined sacrals are here to work, but they're not here as slave labor. You're here to do work that your body enjoys doing, not at call and beck and call for other people as a slave or in bondage. I am realizing I will know I am in the correct place with the correct people, doing the correct work that is correct for me, because it will energize me. You'll have an increase of vitality. If you're in the incorrect work or doing the incorrect commitment, it will exhaust you. So you'll know, and then you can make a course correction. And the defined sacral works from yes or no questions. The other authority, the other authorities, asking them open-ended questions are the more ideal. The defined sacral ideally answers questions and responds from a yes or no question. The last statement here is, I am joyfully doing the work that is correct for me and being with the people that are correct for me as well. Okay, so the last center here is the root center, and this is the drive to do. So this is a natural drive to do. You don't have to like whip it up, whip up energy or whatever, but this is when it's balanced, you're paying attention to when the energy is there to do something or not, and taking down downtime, tea time, so to speak, if the pulse to do is just not there. And then if it's not balanced, then there will be this pressure to do or act, even though you feel like you need to pause and rest. So again, for the open and undefined root center, there will be an inconsistent, variable way of doing things, getting up and doing things. And this is the person that may have a tendency to make endless to-do lists, trying to rush around and hurry and get things, so that the pressure that you can feel in these in this center will be alleviated, but it will never be alleviated. So the fallback again is your type, strategy, and authority. Contemplation questions here to help bring balance. Am I still trying to get things done so I can be free? And am I in a hurry to get things done so I can be free of any pressure? But in this case, the pressure will always be there to do. So using your type, strategy, and authority to know when to do and when to hurry or not to hurry is the thing. Statements to help bring balance for the open or undefined root center. I am in the habit of setting realistic goals. I am using pressure to create more energy by allowing the pressure to build before I act. So it carries me through my activity. So that could be like for cleaning the house, washing the windows, mowing the lawn, or, getting things done basically. At the end of the day, I am allowing myself the time and space to rest, relax, and rejuvenate, even if my to-do list is long. So you just put that thing in the other room and it'll still be there in the morning. So I am making decisions according to my human design strategy and authority, even if I feel pressure to act. Pressure can come just by someone else who has this defined walking in the room. Again, it's not personal. Using your own authority to choose to act or not, regardless of what's going on around you. The defined root center will have a consistent way of acting and doing and alleviating stress in their life by just following your strategy. So the gate 52 is called the mountain, and that is sitting in inner stillness and peace and calmness inside oneself. And however, if you keep hurrying around, then that pressure can get you under stress. So if you're feeling emotional stress or physical stress or pressure to constantly do, and it's taking a toll on your health, this root center may be a source to look at the themes in that root center. The themes that are here for the defined root center: I am honoring my root pulse and waiting for the energy to get things done. I am noticing I get more done when the energy is on. So sometimes the energy isn't on and you just want to sit and watch the grass grow, and that's perfectly fine. That doesn't mean you're not doing anything. Sitting around and watching out the window or relaxing on the beach is correct and doing the correct work, if you will, at that moment. If I notice the energy is off, I am knowing that it is my time to rest and restore myself. When I am tired, I am letting myself stop and relax and rejuvenate my vitality. Okay, so I just wanted to invite you, if you feel like you want to, then you can hop on my website at shellyliedtke.com and request your chart. And in that process, you'll receive a digital copy of this ebook here. We'll go over the basics of the human design system. And I believe, let me see if I had any other, I don't think I had. Yeah, I think we went through all of them. And I just want to thank you all for being patient with my little typos and for joining in on this call today. I appreciate you here. And if anyone has any questions, then we can go ahead and discuss charts, or like you can share with me what your activations in your design are, and we can see what I can tell you according to your center activations in your chart. We still have 20 minutes here available, so we can discuss.
First off,
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank
That
you.
was a lot.
It is a lot. That's why I didn't want to stick anything else in there besides centers today, because you can really get off on the beaten path. So yeah, I wanted to stay focused. That's why I made the slides, so I would stay focused. I can get easily distracted with my little Gemini mind here. So did you have questions for me?
Yeah, I do. So I don't know if you can see this, but anyway, I'm on my laptop, and then I have my thing on my side.
Okay.
My human design thing. But my question is, so the centers, if you want to call them, okay, like the one on the left, on the triangle on the bottom left and the square on the bottom, mine are white. So does that mean does that mean I just have no activity in those centers, in those places? I mean, one
No.
of them has.
So the spleen center, the one on the far left, and the root at the bottom is colored in white.
Yep.
Okay. Are there gates activated touching them?
Yep. There isn't. There isn't a spleen. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you'll have an inconsistent and a variable way of being healthy in your body and taking action in your life. And if you have family members that you're consistently around, you might end up taking on their way of doing things and their way of being healthy in their body. And you'll start being conditioned by them. So you'll want to make sure that you feel comfortable with the energy of whomever it is that you're hanging out with on a regular basis. Now there's a lot of apartment complexes being built right now in communities, and a lot of people moving into these places. There could be somebody on the other side of the wall from them that could affect them, and that could be super difficult for a reflector in particular. So the undefined and open sacrals can really have a problem being on the opposite wall of somebody that they can't get away from. They don't know who the person is. So the gates that you have activated on those two centers will flavor or offer a consistent energy for you in the way that center functions. So can you see the little numbers that of the gate that's activated on your spleen center?
Yeah. So I have on the bottom part, 18 and 28, and they're both halfway to 30
Okay.
and 58.
All right. So the 28 has a flavor of jumping into the game of life, and life's little adventures. You may find that you're the kind of person that likes, if there's two different hikes that you can choose from, and one path is easier but takes you the same destination, and the other one is a little bit harder, you'll choose the harder one just for the experience of it. So that's the way the gate 28 can behave. And the 18, you may find that you're constantly in a process of improving the way that your grandparents and your great grandparents have done things in your family, and making things even better so that the flow of life is more joyful than it was for them.
Okay. And by the way, it's very common to live in separate bedrooms.
It's what?
It's very common to sleep in separate bedrooms.
Yes, yes. And it's okay. I'm hearing more and more people admitting that that's what's happening, and it's just fine.
We
So-
have slept in separate bedrooms for 26 years.
Yeah, it works.
He used to be ashamed of it, but now he's not. But I'm like, he snores and wants to cuddle, and I'm like,
Yeah.
sprawl out. It's just not compatible.
Yep. Okay. All right. Was there anything else, Maria?
Yeah, my root is totally white. So which means
Okay.
what?
And there's no gates activated touching it?
Nope.
Okay. So you'll have a completely open way of taking action on things, and actually could start feeling like you have a great deal of pressure and that you've got to constantly be up doing something, and you just don't. Yeah. So check with, do you have a defined sacral? Your sacral center is colored in red?
Which one is that?
That's the square that's just above the root at the bottom.
Yeah, it's all colored.
Okay. So listen to your gut response as to what is good for you to take action on. Like, do I even need to get up and vacuum right now? Even though I'm feeling like I've got to rush around, wash the toilet, the bathroom sink, the shower, sweep the floor, mop, vacuum. Do I really need to be doing that right now? And if the answer is then give yourself leeway and just don't do it right now.
I am pretty happy that
I have the opposite
not
problem.
that.
Yeah, I'm not doing much. I'm just on the telephone or on the computer all day. I've actually thought of putting away the phone. I
Yeah,
can spend the whole day talking to people on the phone. Oh my gosh, wow.
yeah.
It's really crazy.
Yeah, so giving yourself a break, set your to-do lists aside, let people know, I'm gonna go for a little walk or whatever it is, so you can be by yourself. So, yeah. Aloneness is healthy, even though we've
Well,
been.
I'm trying to figure out, like I was sick in bed for like 9 years off and on. So I'm finally healthy and I'm not used to actually being able to do stuff. And
Yeah,
it's a horrible habit. Like I'm used to just being on the couch or whatever. So now it's all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, get up. And I'm like, well, I don't want to.
yeah, then don't, because your body's letting you know that this isn't okay right now. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Maureen, did you have questions?
No, I just like chiming in with other people.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you don't need to apologize.
I
I've noticed that us as women, we have this little phrase, I'm sorry, come out a lot. And yeah.
I might ask a question. So I do have out of gate 21 is it's striped
Okay.
chart. What does that mean?
That means that on those two columns of numbers, one is in pink or red, and the other one is a darker color in black or whatever. I branded mine so that it's purple because I like pink and purple. I'm a pink and purple gal. So if it's both, that means there's one or more gates on both the conscious and the unconscious, or the design and personality, that are activated on that gate. So there's a planet on both sides, or more than one planet activating that gate.
Oh, you did a thing for me. So I'm looking at yours. It is purple and pink. And it looks like, gosh, I don't know what symbol that is. Uh, hmm, um, I don't know. It's got the plus sign and then a tail, a curly tail.
Okay, that, so it kind of looks like a two
Saturn.
or no? Oh,
No,
it's
it's not the one that looks like a two, but it's right
That's
underneath the
Saturn.
one that looks like.
Yeah, that's Saturn.
Oh, hey, I got it
The
right.
plus sign on the top and then a little backward S.
Yes,
Yeah, that's Saturn.
Okay,
So,
so I have it activated on design and personality.
okay, so what's the line expression on them?
Well, you gotta tell me what that means.
The little teeny tiny number that looks
Okay.
like the power of.
On design, it's 1, and on personality, it's 2.
Okay, so you're here learning how to get down to the foundation of being a wise steward and of going with the flow out in the world.
Hmm.
And being a wise steward of resources, like collecting resources that are necessary in your household.
Hmm.
So like that's the gate of the hunter or the huntress as well, like
I have that.
able to hit the mark and listening to divine will in order to hit the mark. This is like drawing back the bow repeatedly to go out hunting for a deer, you know?
So does this relate to houses in the astrology chart? Like, where does this apply? So would it apply where my Saturn sits?
Well, I won't share your thing
Because
on the
it's
screen, but
abstract.
yeah, let
Once
me,
you apply it to a house.
did you use your name that you've got here on the screen to
think
request your
so.
chart?
I have my chart on here too, though. Let me look for my Saturn. My Saturn is in Aries.
Okay.
Same here.
Oh, I'm sorry. And it is, I gotta tell you what house it is. Where's Aries? Oh, there it is. It's the 5th house.
Bingo. Wow, we're close, Maureen.
Are we?
Yeah, are you 68? Born in 68?
I'm 67.
Okay.
I'm a
Interesting.
Virgo.
Okay.
I'm a Virgo too. That's probably what it is.
Hmm.
Well,
What's
Did
your,
you,
sorry, go ahead, Shelly.
I have
Did
the
you-
same as you, Saturn in the 5th
Oh, here
house
you-
and
I
Aries.
found your chart. Okay, let me look at your astrology here in
That way.
conjunction with that.
Maria, what step?
So
number?
it's step 11. Okay, this gives,
Yeah.
it's step 11 on your gate 22, line 2 in Aries and the 5th house. So the 5th house is Leo energy. I'm not so good at the astrology stuff. I'm still learning from Mr. Ritecki here. So it has to do with the reality of children, creativity, what you love, and your physical, like your physical body, your form, your physical form, because it's 11, step 11. So being a wise steward of what's going on in your reality, of what you love, your creativity, childlike energy, whether it's children or grandchildren, whatever that is. So, and going with the flow of what's going on in reality, in physical reality in your space. Does that ring more true?
It does now at this age. I'll say that.
Okay, okay.
But not when I was younger. That's part of being 56.
Yeah, yeah. And then the 21 line 1 in the unconscious or design part, the part that's in pink, is step 10. So it's manifesting. This is what grounds you, is really getting down to the foundation of, oh, you guys, you need to help me. What's the 7th house?
I'll look it up.
Yeah,
It's a house of relationships.
the house of real. Oh, that's Libra, what we just went through,
What did
right?
you say? It's,
Yes.
it's what? House of what?
It's the 7th
Relationship.
house in step 10, and that's Aries as well. So you're taking action on what you're producing and staying in control of what you're producing so that it grounds you in your relationships. By getting down to the foundation of what you're manifesting and producing.
Oh, it's just such a hard time interpreting all this stuff is sometimes.
Isn't it? It's nuts. I agree.
Okay, I'm not the only one, but
No.
if I sit and I write about it, then that's the only way I can get any clarity is I have to write.
Yeah.
And they're
So-
thinking, I'm just like, I don't know.
So if you write down gate 21 is the gate of control. Is the hunter or the huntress. So you're wanting to hit the mark of your manifestation, what you're manifesting. And what you're manifesting is what your heart truly loves and what it's taking care of and watching over. 'Cause
Okay.
you're wanting to take action on that.
So wanting to hit the mark, I can hear that as perfectionism. And that is a Virgo trait. Like
It can go,
right.
yeah, it can go overboard, and
Yeah.
also trying to control the environment you're in and
Mhm.
trying to control others around you when it's you needing to do that from inside yourself and what you have control over. Specifically here, because it's in the 7th house of your relationships.
Wow. Okay. Now that is making a lot of sense.
Okay, all right, beautiful. Okay. Jessica, did you have anything you wanted us to look at?
No, not at this time.
Okay, all right, very good. Or Stephanie, do you have anything?
I'm good. I've got a lot of notes here. I absolutely loved your slides. And especially I have to go back over them as well. So I'm glad we're getting this recorded. But I got a lot of notes and everything's, really fascinating to me, but I'm still, I don't really have any questions at this moment.
Okay, all right, beautiful. I noticed in the comments here, it says, Jessica asked, can a center be off balance if it's not defined or open? Yes, definitely. That's why I wanted to emphasize those statements that I went over, is because it helps bring us back home to ourselves and restore balance when we get unbalanced, because it's super easy, as you all know, in our running around in the sandbox of life, we get unbalanced. People throw sand and hit you with the shovel and, smack you with the bucket and all kinds of stuff. And so we can become unbalanced, whether it's a defined place in the chart or an undefined or open place in the chart. Yeah, so it's a constant balancing and recentering circus act. I always like to say it's all fun and games in the candy shop for sure. So, yeah.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but there is a chakra test that you can take online, and it will
Okay.
actually, I put the link here in the chat. It actually shows, by answering a lot of questions, which chakras are overactive and which ones are underactive, and
Okay.
ways to balance them out as well.
Beautiful.
So I know the chakra system's a little different than the original chakra system, but that still will give you an idea if something's off balance. You'll just have to think of the G center and the heart center being one with this system, and then the solar plexus and the spleen will be one in this system. But yeah, it is. I've worked with this test like so much because it's like I'll get so out of balance, and when I start to feel like something, I just feel off and can't quite pinpoint what it is. I will do this test, and every time that you do the test, it'll be different. Like the way you answer the questions, however you answer them. Like one day you may be saying, my head is dreamy, spacey, disconnected, and generally that has to do with the root. You're not being grounded, and it has ways of grounding your energy. So
Nice.
it does help with balancing. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Stephanie. Cool. Yeah, I like any of that information, any little things that's going to help bring balance. My chart is actually very emotionally defined, in so much that you may hear the statement in the human design community to track your emotional wave, and mine is not able to be tracked because I have so much so many gate activations on my emotion center that there's no way I can do that. So what I do was I have like a little mood meter that I use throughout the day, and I'll do little check-ins with myself. One for in the morning, I check in the afternoon, in the evening, and at bedtime, so that I can see, okay, maybe possibly it's something I eat on a consistent basis that is causing me to feel upset right after I eat that item or whatever. Or when I interact with a certain person or do a certain activity, that's where those things are going to show up. So for me, that's how I track my emotional wave, but it's not genuinely 100% tracking. It's just like, okay, I need to look at what's going on in my environment and how I was actually feeling about that in the moment. And sometimes those patterns take a long time like that to start showing up. So keeping a journal is really helpful, and having tracking pages that you can help yourself with those kinds of things. So,
Speaking of journal, where's the homework supposed to be on Serious Joy?
oh, I've been a
Anybody
homeschooling
know?
mom. I don't believe in homework, but I did do a page that I uploaded. It's in the files. It should be there on the top unless somebody added something else after me. It says something about the HD Center checklist or something like that. So you can go through and check off which centers you have colored in, and you can actually color in. I put a blank chart there, and you can color in a little chart if you want to play with it that way, or let your children or grandchildren play with it. So.
Stephanie put it in the chat here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks. I put it up there.
Yay. Okay.
Before we close out, would you want to discuss, what we're going to be working on next week, so I can try to get some information together, like those that are following in the books that I posted, kind of helps if they have questions before the group, then they can get those together.
Yeah. What's coming to my mind right now when you ask that is probably we need to back up and go to the types and start with the types, because that's the most ideal place to start with. This today I feel like was good because it helps us start understanding what those geometric shapes are and how they function or behave in our design. So I think we'll take a look at the types next week and go over that. So
Sounds great.
all righty. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for being here and listening and learning together. I appreciate you. So we will see you. Oh, we've got, what do we have coming up? Is Cassandra doing something on Sunday, Stephanie, or?
I don't
What was
believe
her
so.
session?
Let me look here. Trying to get the events pulled up.
We're doing Throwing the Coins and psychic intuitive readings on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain. I'm in Mountain Time, so I mentioned Mountain Time. And that's quite fun. It's for an hour. We do a group reading, and then whoever's there will do card draws or whatever. I have a bunch of little fun toys for that.
When was that, Shelly?
I Ching Throwing the Coins on Wednesday evening.
Okay, I don't think it's posted on the thing yet. The last one is the 20th of October that was posted that I saw.
I will get it posted.
We just did one this couple of
Last
days ago.
Wednesday.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll have the schedule out for the upcoming week. I'll post that Sunday. So any
Okay.
events that we're having every week, you'll see a schedule pinned to the top of the group. So everybody knows what's going on for the week.
Alrighty. Very good.
Okey-dokey.
Okay, thank you, my dears. You have a lovely day. And we'll see you next time, okay?
Thank you,
Thank you.
Shelly.
Uh-huh. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.